Opioids are killing tens of thousands of Americans every year. It's an epidemic. It's being driven in part by prescription drugs, but not only by prescription drugs, also heroin. More of it is being smuggled into this country than ever before, and almost all of that heroin is coming from Mexico across our porous southern border. Matt Thomas is the Deputy Chief of Police in Pinal County, Arizona, and he joins us tonight. Chief Thomas, thanks very much for coming on. Give us a sense, and this is something that's rarely discussed in Washington, but the scale of opioid smuggling across our southern border into the United States.
Well, we've seen a significant increase since 2014. It used to be that Arizona, our southern borders, marijuana was the cash crop for the Sinaloan cartel specifically, that kind of is the main cartel for our state.
Yes.
And there was a significant shift starting in 2014 where the marijuana smuggling started to decline, and we started to see a significant increase in the smuggling of heroin, fentanyl, and methamphetamine.
Fentanyl, too?
Yes.
Okay, so, give us a sense of, like, large amounts, enough that they would help drive the epidemic that's killing so many Americans?
Oh, absolutely, especially the fentanyl, because such small doses are so lethal. And
right.
So that particular drug becomes a danger both for anybody that is using it, but our officers as well. We've had several exposures in our state where officers have been exposed to fentanyl, and then they've had to get the Narcan to help reverse the effects so that they don't die from the exposure. We've had citizens, same thing, they overdose on it because it's much stronger than heroin. So we have the heroin
yes.
problem, but now we're having the fentanyl problem, and that is becoming a bigger crisis for us because it's so dangerous, and we're seeing it's coming in the format of essentially fake pills. So what the cartels are sending up are what are being sold as oxy, but it's fake, and it has the fentanyl in it, and it's much stronger, more potent, and more dangerous.
So we just had on the screen, I don't know if you could see it, a video of drug tunnels crossing the border into the United States. How common are those in your county?
In our county, not common, because we're off the border about 70 miles, and the county is unique, being that we're off the border 70 miles, but it's open desert to the border. That's what kind of makes us more like a border county. But right. For the border counties in the state, Pima County, Cochise County, Yuma County,
yes,
very common, because the Sinaloans essentially are the masterminds behind those tunnels, and Arizona being predominantly Sinaloa cartel ran, very common to see tunnels throughout our state.
Do you think Washington, which is trying to respond to the opioid crisis that's killing so many people, do you think that in Washington lawmakers have a sense of where these drugs are coming from?
I think they have a sense of where they're coming from. I mean, they would have to have their heads buried pretty deep in the sand to not have a sense of that. After all these years, we kind of know where the source is, but I don't think they have a sense of the magnitude of what's coming across the border, how easy it is to get across the border, and how adversely it's affecting all of our communities. And you know, from the smallest rural community all the way up to your metropolitan areas, it's having a very negative effect. And you know, it's kind of our fault on the American side. We're the consumers. We've kind of created this problem, and it's a demand-driven thing.
Yeah, it'd be nice to stop it. Thank you very much for telling us that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.